Hey guys, Justin here. I wanted to take a quick second and let you know about Growth Now Movement Live, coming to Reading, Pennsylvania, May 30th to June 1st. This event is going to feature some of my top guests like Fabio Viviani from America's Top Chef, best-selling author and future board expert Sarah Centrella, Albie Manzo from Real Housewives of New Jersey, and many, many more. This is going to be a game-changing event. It is truly going to be a day-long rock concert for entrepreneurs, forward thinkers, and people who are ready to take their life to the next level. So if that's you, head over to gnmlive.com and grab your tickets today because prices are going up soon. Again, go to gnmlive.com now to level up your life and truly create the life of your dreams. Can't wait to see you there. What is the secret to unlocking your full potential? What makes your idols any different than you? How do you become the person you've always wanted to be in life? This is where you get all of your questions answered. My name is Justin Shank, and I sit down with some of the most epic individuals who are changing the world with their actions in business and in life. We discuss how they did it, why they pushed themselves, and more importantly, how they were able to focus on continuous growth to achieve their dreams. Welcome to the Growth Now Movement. This week, I sit down with my friend, Doug Morneau. Doug is a serial entrepreneur since founding his first company over 32 years ago. Doug is a passionate lifelong learner, an expert marketer with significant experience in email marketing. Doug has the ability to quickly understand concepts, adapt to new technologies and new media, making him a valuable contributor to any sales and marketing problem-solving conversation or marketing strategy session. Doug is a dynamic, powerful, and knowledgeable speaker that never fails to add value, which I think you're going to see in this episode. Doug is, number one, an incredible human being. I was able to connect with him at New Media Summit as we were both icons of influence and chosen as top podcasters for the first ever New Media Summit, which was exciting. And obviously, Doug was a guy who we really just kind of hit it off because he's genuine, he's nice, and he truly wants to help individuals reach the next level with their business and their marketing. In this episode, we talk a little bit about his journey in weight loss and how he really started to balance that and how that helped him improve his business. And then we also dive into specifically email marketing and how to target certain people and really grow your business using email marketing lists and stuff like that. So this episode's a little bit different because it is very business driven, but I think you guys are absolutely going to love it if you're ready to level up your business. So we are a little less than 3 months away from Growth Now Movement Live, and tickets are flying right now. So I encourage you to go to gnmlive.com and purchase your tickets today because they will sell out and you do not want to miss this. So come hang out with me, Fabio Viviani, Albie Manzo, Sarah Centrella, Justin Cavanaugh, and the other incredible speakers and movement makers. This will be a game-changing event, and I promise you that you will learn new things and you'll have a ton of fun and make amazing connections. I can't wait to see you there. Now, without further ado, let's get into the episode with my friend, Doug Morneau. Doug, welcome to the Growth Now Movement, man.
Hey, great to connect. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got you on the show. You are a fellow icon of influence in the new media space. We met out in San Diego and, we talk podcasts on a regular basis. You're currently in the mastermind that Adam and I have. And, we really are building this friendship. And I'm excited about this conversation because you're somebody who, is definitely a master in a space. And you're somebody who can take somebody in business and level them up, specifically at this point through email marketing. But you're really just like a marketing mind, right? So your brand is real marketing real fast. So why don't we talk a little bit about how you got to that point, and then we can kind of unpack.
Sure. So where do you want to start?
Well, why don't you just say who you are now? Like, what are you doing now? What are you all about?
So I help my clients make buckets of money and I get to keep some.
I love that. That's a great way to look at it.
So that's what I'm about. Yeah, I'm pretty much everything marketing. I mean, I've been in this space now for, over 25 years, and lots has changed and there's lots that stayed the same. So, I'm always looking at what's innovative, what's new, what's coming. But that doesn't necessarily mean throwing out, everything that's worked in the past. I mean, you have to have a foundation. So I spend probably 20% of my time looking at new technologies and new marketing methods to test and try before I bring them to my clients.
Yeah, so you have a strong focus in 2019 when, we're chatting in December, but this won't be out until probably January or early February. But, you have a strong focus on email right now, but email's been around forever. Do you see like a resurgence or anything like that that's happening in that space?
Well, I mean, the people that are in the space obviously are pushing hard to say that it's not dead, and the numbers prove that they're right. But I guess the reason that I'm focusing on it is because I've had massive wins for my clients in the space in a particular niche in email. That's renting third-party lists. So getting publishers who have a relationship with their subscriber base to send out your message. And that is just not talked about in the marketing circles. It's not talked about at the Direct Marketing Association, the Email Experience Council. People in our industry aren't talking about it, but the big marketers are using it and making off like bandits and making money.
Yeah, that's super interesting to me because, I have a high open rate on my emails. Which is great. I have a pretty high click rate, which is good. And I definitely see the advantages. Like email to me is super strong, but everybody's focusing on social media. Is that part of your play? Like I'm just going to focus on something different than what a lot of these other marketers are talking about?
Well, yes and no. I mean, you've got to have something unique to differentiate, your offering to the marketplace. But I tell people I'm tactic agnostic. So I really don't care what the tactic is as long as we can get ROI and conversion. And email is just one piece of that. So yes, we do social and we do paid search and we do all sorts of other, use other tactics as well. But I just found that email is a quick entry point to get a massive boost and do a lot of heavy lifting in your marketing. And it plays nice with everything else. So it plays nice with social. It grows your social following. It can amplify your content. So if you've got a podcast or you've written an article in Entrepreneur or Inc. or you're publishing on your own blog, that's great that you've got that platform. But what would it be like if you could get another 100,000 people to look at that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a game changer. When I talk about the Inc.com thing that I was listed on about a year ago and how much that impacted me. It's because 158,000 people read that article in the first month. And so like that really kind of impacted my audience. And so if you can get more eyes that aren't your eyes, like that's the key of what you're talking about, right? So like my email list is a couple thousand people, but if I were able to get in front of somebody else's couple thousand people, it's a game changer, right?
Absolutely. And it could be a couple thousand. So it could be something like you and I might reciprocate a mailing, which we often see people doing joint ventures, or it might be going to Inc. magazine and renting their email list and sending out your sponsored piece where they're saying you're an influencer and sending it to their own list to get more eyes on you. And using the credibility of Inc. saying, hey, look at this Justin guy. I mean, he's huge. Inc's written about him. It comes in their email, so they trust the email. Because I think a lot of times that as business owners, we don't want to spend money amplifying or showing off or promoting our content. We're thinking, hey, what can we do for free? Which is fine. Yeah. But if you want to scale your business, you gotta spend some money.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, now I'm also going to preface this conversation with I did not buy my way onto Inc.com or that list. It happened organically. So just throwing that out there. But with that being said.
No, that's a good point. I mean, I know that because I know that you got on because of your credentials. Mm-hmm. But what I'm suggesting is that when people do that, you could go to Fortune, Forbes, or Fast Company and drive those people to see you and further amplify your message. So yeah, I wasn't suggesting that you paid for that. That wasn't native advertising. That was earned media.
Yeah. No. And I agree. That was not for you. That was for the audience. Cause they might have been thinking like, oh my God, Justin bought his way onto that list. Like I get it now. But it's funny. Cause like, here you are and you're really kind of looking at the space. But the one thing you had mentioned earlier, you were talking about how like you're constantly looking at the next thing, like, testing different markets and doing this and doing that. I mean, I'm sure, you've been in this space for 25 years, right?
Yeah.
But it hasn't always been email marketing or renting lists. Like, how did that progression happen for you? Like, how did you even become an entrepreneur? And then how did the progression to this movement right now happen for you?
Well, I became an entrepreneur because I always wanted to have my own business. I was one of those weird kids, kind of a geeky kid back in grade school, watched my grandfather have, a number of very successful businesses. He had retired at 35 and then he started 4 or 5 businesses and sold them for multiple millions of dollars. And so I started reading the stock market page when I was in grade school and carried on through high school. And then as soon as I could get out of school, I started a couple companies and I went off to work. Wow. I tell people people I was a really bad employee. I always wanted to make things bigger, better, faster, and work harder. And what I found was people around me that really annoyed them. I was trying to think of the appropriate word that to not get you in trouble with iTunes. So.
Oh no, you can curse on this show. I don't care.
Okay.
But it's funny because first of all, you just said that you watched the stock market when you were in grade school.
Yeah,
that's so crazy. Like to me, when I was a kid, like I remember my dad watching some of those channels, and like all there were just numbers scrolling on the bottom. I knew nothing about it. I'm such a late bloomer into this entrepreneur space, so I'm fascinated by people who, it was kind of born in them, and it was one of those things where it was like, no, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, which is pretty cool. So, going forward, as I look at what you're doing, like what are the things that you tried out that other people shouldn't do because you're like, this doesn't work?
I can't, nothing seriously comes to mind immediately of a particular tactic. Maybe the approach to it. So, we had tried different ways of running Google ads and Facebook ads, and we found a bunch of ways that didn't work. It didn't mean the platform didn't work. It just means we hadn't figured out how to leverage that for our business. So we've done direct mail, and I still like direct mail. Actually love direct mail. So I will do handwritten envelopes with real postage stamps. We do, DM. I don't do any telemarketing, but we do pretty much everything else digital we've tried. We've done influencer marketing for years where we paid people to send out tweets and promote stuff on social media. So before it was popular, we just, again, kept it quiet and just leveraged it for our clients. But there's not really any one tactic that I found that didn't work well. Maybe trade shows. I mean, trade shows I'm not a fan of because I find that the promoters do a really crappy job at promoting the show. So they charge me a ton of money for a 10 by 10 booth. I have to pay for, table, pay for a skirt. I have to pay for electricity. I have to pay for this, pay for that. And then they don't live up to their promise. They don't bring any people to the show.
Yeah. You're right.
So if I go to a trade show or a client goes to a trade show, we have a totally different marketing strategy than everybody else. We don't count on any traffic coming from the actual trade show. We make sure that we market the trade show with a pre-event, or if we're in the show, we're going to disrupt the show. We did go into the direct marketing show, the DMA, in Las Vegas, and we totally disrupted the show. Security came and said, "You guys got to keep your people in your booth and stop doing that." We're a marketing company.
Living on the edge.
At a marketing show. I don't want to look like everybody else.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what marketing is, right? It's disrupting, it's getting in front of, it's standing out. It's doing all of that stuff. You're 100% right. Now, when you talk about renting lists and getting in front of an audience, and we can use my live event as an example. Like my goal is to, sell as many tickets as I possibly can for my live event, and say I know like a copy audience, just a bigger one. Do you think that that's something that you would drive to? Like, what's the ideal opportunity for somebody to get in front of an audience? Like, is there a specific niche? Is there a specific placement in, like, can a small company do it? Should it only be large companies? Like, what's the play? Like, what's this ideal for? What kind of person?
Well, my deep expertise is in venture capital and crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So we've raised tens and millions of dollars for clients that are doing that. But we've also worked in health and wellness, and we've worked in all sorts of other spaces. So really what it comes down to is the better you know your business and your customer avatar, and what they do online and offline, the better chance you're going to have a success using this type of media. So at this point, I don't think there's really anybody that couldn't consider this. And I'm not suggesting you move all your budget, but it just becomes part of your marketing budget. So you're probably doing social, and you're probably doing some digital marketing already. So this is just one other piece that you test. In terms of size of companies, it requires a larger budget. So people aren't going to be able to come in and spend $50 a day like they're running a Facebook ad.
Right.
Often the media buys, they have a minimum. The minimum might be $2,500. It might be $5,000. That's just the medium. That's just the way the space works. But in terms of verticals, I mentioned Inc. Well, I know that you can rent Inc.'s email list. I know that for a fact. I know that the Washington Post, I've rented their list. So there's a number of media that you can get, and you just buy a smaller piece. So if you're a smaller business, or even if you're a larger business, I tell people start small and scale up. And that quite often throws them off. They're going, well, I have this budget. And I'm going, yeah, well, let's not use it all today, because it's really easy to spend money, but it's really tough to get it back. So let's go and test 4 or 5 different lists, and let's see which lists give you the best lift, the highest conversion, the most profitability. And then once we figure that out, so if the list is maybe 3 million names and we've rented 50,000 and we got great conversion, you're going, man, this is cool. I sold out my event. When you want to do your next event, if you know that list works, now you can go rent 250,000 instead of 50,000. So it's very easy to scale.
So give me a rough estimate of what something like that would cost. Like, what would it cost somebody to rent 50,000 emails?
Anywhere from $200 1,000 to probably $400 per 1,000 names.
Okay, depending on do these organizations, like, let's use Inc.com for an example. Like, you can rent their list. So like, do they tell you their open rates and stuff like that beforehand, or how's that work?
Some do, and that's probably the biggest challenge for people that are doing this, because it's a media that they're not familiar with. They don't know what questions to ask, and then they don't know how to measure what they're doing because it's a different media. So yes, you can get open rates. Yes, you can ask for previous mailers, often the data card. So a data card really is like a data card for any other media, whether it's print or radio. It tells you the audience. It tells you that information, but often in the data cards for direct mail and email, they tell you the source. So how did the people get on the list? Are they purchasers? Are they buyers? Was it a free offer? How did they get there? And then sometimes they'll also show you the other people who have used the list. So, something like an Inc. You might, I don't know off the top of my head, but for example, they might say, hey, Lexus has used it and the NASDAQ stock exchange uses it. So you can see the previous mailers to the list.
Yeah. I love that. And it's great. And so are you currently using this to grow your own business too? And that's how you know that this is something that's profitable?
I have. And as I roll in the new year, I'm going to be doing that to roll out my new health and wellness book.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about, like, you are a multi-time author, right? So the one book, The 3 Big Lies, which you can currently grab, which we're going to give a free offer just for shipping and handling here at the end. But tell us a little bit more. What are the 3 big lies? Like, how did you formulate this whole idea?
Well, it's just listening. I mean, I used to attend pretty much every marketing trade show that was anywhere in the world just to make sure I was up to date. And I asked a lot of questions, and I would go there more with a mind of buying and looking to buy technology and partner than I was going to sell. Yeah. And with email, when I started talking to the people in the business, and I'd go into the booth, say, what do you think about renting lists? They go, oh, it's illegal and it's bad and you can't do that. And so for me, it actually saved me a lot of money, because a lot of those professional organizations, I didn't renew my subscriptions because clearly they weren't providing the right information. So the big lies are that it's dead, which 5 minutes on Google will show you ROI is not true, that it doesn't work, and that list rental is illegal, which is not true, because one of my biggest clients who rented my data was the Wall Street Journal. So there's no way the Journal is going to risk their reputation or break the law to market subscriptions for the online journal.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even see how that could be illegal. Like, as I'm thinking about it, like it's their audience. They can do it. Like, those people have optioned in to do whatever, and they're just sending out an email for you, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, they have the relationship. The subscriber has the relationship with the brand and the publisher.
Yeah.
And they've given them permission to email them. So all you're doing is putting together an offer that's congruent with that brand, and they're sending it to their audience, and they're introducing growth now. Say, here's a great opportunity if you have a business. Here's the event. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love all that stuff. But you kind of mentioned, I'm writing a health book, and here we are. We're talking about marketing this whole entire time. But a big part of your life is fitness, is health. Let's start at this point, and then we can unpack it. But like, why do you think health is important to everything that you're doing currently? Like, why is it such a big focus for you?
Well, because being unhealthy, we're the CEOs and we're the driving forces of our companies, whether we work for somebody or not. We're the CEO of our future. And if you're not healthy, you don't have the clarity, the energy, the stamina to keep up in today's marketplace, you're just not going to perform. So I tell people, if you have a Ferrari or pick your favorite high-end car, would you pour shit in the gas tank?
No.
Oh, they're going, no. Well, then why would you go and live on a diet of fast food? Because you're basically the Ferrari that you want to cross the finish line. And for me, it was really simple. I mean, my business grew, and the more my business grew and the more successful I got, the more invitations I got to, fly here for charity things and fly here for sports events. And so we'd go out, and it's dinner and drinks and cigars and dinner and drinks and cigars and steaks and all sorts of stuff. And I tell people, so you add a pound a month, and you do that for, 12 months is 12 pounds. And you do that for 5 or 6 years, and you're 60 pounds overweight, and you're going like, how'd that happen? And then, in my case, my body started to shut down.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So your body started to shut down. You gained all this weight. You were overweight. Let's talk about that for a moment. What was that? What was your aha moment of like, oh shit, I need to get this under wraps?
Well, I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I was using a CPAP machine. I'd been doing that for 15 years. And every year I'd go to the doctor for my physical and say, how can I get off the med? She said, you can't, you're on for life. My business was growing. I was doing about 16 million a year in sales. My son was getting married. My daughter was heading off to school internationally. And I came down with double pneumonia. And I was in bed for 3 months.
Wow.
I got 20 staff in my company. I'm in bed for 3 months. I'm the sole sales guy selling this.
Unreal.
And I'm not allowed to leave the house. I can barely get up and down the stairs. I can't do a whole flight of stairs without stopping and resting. And so in December, after being in bed for 3 months, the doctor said, you can go back to work 2 hours, but that includes your commute time. I said, tell you what, I'm going to hire a personal trainer. I'm going to get healthy. And she said, I strongly advise that you do not do that. I said, I'll see you in a year. And I left the doctor's office. And a year later, I came back and had a checkup. I was 60 pounds lighter. And I was off all my medication. I told her, hey, I stopped my med. She said, oh, you can't do that. It's very dangerous. I said, well, how are my numbers? She said, your numbers are really good. I said, I stopped 2 months ago because they were giving me headaches. So I'm not suggesting that people do what I do. It was my choice. So what I had done is I had abdicated control of my health and wellness to, the information that our government produces and the information that our doctors give us. And that was wrong. I needed to take responsibility and take that back and do what was best for me. And it's the best decision I've ever made.
That's amazing. Like you're a baller, dude. Like, by the way, I think that's the first time on this podcast I ever called somebody a baller. Like, just to be like, you know what? I'll see you in a year. Mic drop, come back, and you're just like, what now? You know what I mean? And it's kind of scary to actually think about when you talk about like them saying, oh no, you can't do that, and all the advice doctors, these professionals were giving you was wrong.
Well, she asked me, she goes, well, what did you do? And I said, what do you mean, what did I do? She said, well, what did you do to lose all this weight and to get your health in order? I said, well, I stopped eating sugar. I stopped most of my dairy. I ate less food. I had no salt, and I started working out. She says, well, what do you mean? What did you do? I said, well, I went to the gym and I picked up heavy things and I put them down. like I don't know what you're looking for. I mean, I just went to the gym. I hired a trainer and I trained. At that time, I was training 4 days a week. And then I was running and hiking and trail running in between. So I was probably, just spending a lot of time with my running shoes on.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, guys, so how old are you again, Doug?
55.
So Doug's 55 years old, does CrossFit, does all this other crazy stuff, super fit, still living this perfect life. What did that do for your business, though, when you shift your own personal life?
Well, it was a tough time because my business had just, I had been out for 3 months. And
right.
So we lost millions of dollars in sales. So my business was struggling by the time I got back. And I honestly just ignored it because I had to get healthy first. Right.
And so, but what did that do beyond that, though? Like, when you look at your life now versus then, and your business now versus then, like, what's the big difference?
I work a lot less, seriously. So people go, well, how do you fit it into your schedule? It's like, well, it's the first thing in my schedule. So unless I'm dead or I have a family event, I'm gonna go to the gym. So when I'm off this podcast today, I'm heading to the gym because it's Wednesday CrossFit day. So that's in my schedule. So I work a lot less. I probably work 4 or 5 hours a day. Well, some days I work 4 or 5 hours. So, I work a lot less and I'm happy and I have less stress and I have less worries to do with my company and business is cruising along. So I'm having more fun. I'm working less hours. I'm not commuting anymore. So, it's almost embarrassing to think that I get up and I go to the gym, then I sit in my gym gear till maybe noon. I have a couple interviews or I interview somebody, or if I'm on a Skype call, I have to put on a clean shirt and put a hat on. And that's my life. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, the idea of grinding 7 days a week and working 12, 14, 16 hours a day like I used to just doesn't interest me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, I know there's going to be people listening and being like, geez, like this guy, he only works 4 or 5 hours a day. He just said he's got less stress. He's happier. He's living the life that he's truly designed. And I would consider that a success. But we all have different definitions of success. So my question for you is, what is your definition of success? And what are 3 things you do every single day to ensure that success?
My definition of success is really being able to spend the time with the people that I love and care about. So for me now, we've got grandkids. So it's when my grandson, who's 2, comes over and he quietly knocks on the door if the light's not on, saying that I'm interviewing, and he wants to come see granddad and go outside. He play golf. So he can't say golf, so it's golf. So we've got a big piece of property, and he knows where the golf clubs are. So he wants to go out and hack holes in the grass and chase around. So to me, that's success, because I love to hang out with my family, and I love to travel with my family.
Love that.
The 3 things that I do, I have a couple Post-it notes that I have on my computer, and one is always milk the cow before building the barn. So what can I do today that moves the sales dial? Yeah. And that doesn't mean that I get to hide behind hey, I'm updating my social media, because that doesn't move the sales dial. So who can I talk to? Who can I help? And so I have this list every day of the 3 things that I need to do before the end of the day. That will move the sales dial. And I don't accomplish it every day. Some days, well, yesterday I didn't make it in the office actually at all. But I tried really hard.
Yeah. That's all that matters. We don't just trying. We just got to try. That's key to life.
And the other thing is learning to forgive yourself. So, I think lots of times if you're a type A or driven personality, that you're really hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. And, you have to recognize there's seasons. So, yesterday I just couldn't get my head into the game. So it's like, am I going to sit there and kind of push things around my desk, or am I going to go do something else? So I went and, my daughter was off. So she said, hey, let's go, Dad, let's hang out for lunch. So she was off work. So we went and sat down 5 guys and hung out. And that was really the highlight of the day, was having some family time. So yeah, it's forgive yourself's the other thing. To keep you moving forward. Like, you can't sit on your butt and do nothing. Yeah. But we're going to have bad days. We're going to have bad weeks. Hopefully they don't turn into bad months. Just pick up and start over again.
I love all that, man. So the cool part about you is that, like, you are somebody who does try different marketing tactics, and you try different things here and there. What is something somebody can do right now to move the dial on their own business? Just give it like an actionable tip for anybody that they can do right now.
So let's just talk about tip for email. Make sure you've got a welcome message when people sign up for your email list. 70% of the people are expecting to get one, and less than half the business owners send one. So you're letting people down right off the bat. The reason you want to do that is twofold. Number one is it's got the highest open rate of any email you'll ever send your list. So you have the technology. All you need to do is send a welcome message saying, this is what you can expect from me. And please, like, to your point of social media, connect with me on social. So offer them another platform to connect with you and your brand. It'll surprise them that you send it. You can make them an offer if you want in the email, which can increase your sales. It'll increase your engagement, which will also increase your deliverability. So it's something you can do for free. You've got all the tools. If you've got a list, you've got enough content that you can put together a simple welcome message. That can have a huge impact on your bottom line.
Dude, that is huge. And I don't think I have one. I don't think I have a welcome email. I'm trying to think. I don't think I do, which is not good. So now I'm going to make that change right when I get off the phone. And I highly recommend anybody else do that as well if you don't have something set up. And that call to action is super key. Would you recommend trying to sell something in that welcome email, or just be very simple, like, hey, glad we're connected. Let's connect on this too?
I guess it depends what industry you're in. I would say that yes, you might sell something, but the something you're selling might be a different lead magnet. It might be a video. It might be a free course. So it doesn't always have to be a hard sell. Pull out your credit card. It might be a discount coupon. It might be, there's something you can, how can you add value so this person's excited next week to open up their email and see you again?
Yeah, I love all that stuff, man. So Where can people go to connect with you and work with you as they're listening and being like, this guy clearly knows what he's talking about? Just with that one little tip there. So like, how do people connect with you?
Go to my blog. My website's Doug Morneau. It's morneau.com. Connect with me there. I've got content there. I've got all my podcasts are hosted there and transcribed. And then I have an email list. And, I want to surprise you and say that if you sign up for my email list, you're not going to get bombarded with hard offers. What you're going to get is information, tips and techniques, what I'm doing, what's working for me. And if you find that valuable and want to work with me, then you've got my contact information, but you're not going to get an inbox full of buy my stuff.
I love that. And there's obviously two options here. You guys definitely want to pick up his book, The 3 Big Lies. You can go to Amazon and pay $20 for it, or you can go to dougmorneau.com/growth now, and you can actually get a free copy. All you do is pay for shipping and handling. Highly recommend it because it's packed full of information. Now, I end all of these episodes with 5 rapid fire questions, but before we get there, is there anything else you want to add, Doug?
No, now you're making me nervous with the 5 rapid fire questions, but go ahead.
They're terrifying, by the way. No, honestly, some are fun, some are serious. I just ask you this. Answer within one word or the most one sentence. Are you ready?
Yep.
First one is, what's your favorite smell?
Cookies.
Nice. What's one trait in a friend that's non-negotiable? Like a person has to have this trait in order to be your friend.
Integrity.
That's a really good one. If you could have dinner with one person, living or dead, who would it be?
Elon Musk.
What would you ask him? This is question 3B.
What he's most excited about in the next 6 months.
Awesome. At the end of your life, if you could only be remembered for one sentence, what would it be?
That I loved people and I was caring.
Awesome. Now, obviously, this show is called the Growth Now Movement, so I wrap up every single episode with this same question, and that is, in your life, what has been your biggest moment of growth?
The economic financial meltdown of the U.S.
In 2008?
Yeah. I quadrupled my business, increased it by 400%.
Talk to me about that. How did you do that?
Contrarian approach. Everybody ran for the hills and hid. A lot of people went out of business. My clients came to me and said, what am I going to do? So we need to talk to more people. They said, so how do we do that? So I said, double your budget.
Wow.
And they said, really? I said, yeah, I'm going to go to the suppliers. I'm going to renegotiate our prices. So we'll get our prices down by 20, 30, 40%. And then I want you to spend twice as much. And they did.
So smart. I love that.
And they said, now what? I said, double it again.
Wow. Well, I just read an article that this is apparently going to be happening again in a couple of years, or at least we're trending to do that. So take that and run with that one.
I'm super excited. I mean, I love the turbulence in the marketplace because most people are afraid of change. So you asked me if I wanted to add anything, I'd say just if you've got something that you want to do, just do it. I didn't know how to podcast. I didn't know how to write a book. I didn't know any of the things before I started. I just started. And people came alongside and helped me.
I love that. I am a big believer in that imperfect action is much better than no action at all. So, Doug, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge, and just being a friend, man. I appreciate you so much.
Hey, thanks so much, Justin. It's always great to hang out with you.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Growth Now movement. This is how you can really help me out. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please share it out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And let's grow this movement to epic heights. And it's all going to be because of you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.